This is All India Radio. Welcome to the business news program Money Matters. My name is V. Ravi Kumar and with me is my co-anchor in Hindi, Ambarish Saxena. And to discuss the stories, we are joined in by market expert Sharad Kohli.
नमस्कार। इस कार्यक्रम में हम शेयर बाजार, कारोबार और अर्थ जगत की ताजा खबरों को लेकर हाजिर हैं। आइए शुरू करते हैं अंग्रेजी में हेडलाइन से।
Benchmark domestic stocks climbed more than 2.5% in the week ended yesterday. Sensex closes below 50,500. Nifty index finishes below the 15,000 mark. Rupee logs 44 paise weekly gain against the US dollar. And US equity indices extend gains yesterday amid data showing faster than expected monthly jobs growth. The benchmark domestic stocks climbed more than 2% during the week ended yesterday. Equity markets witnessed high volatility during the week as surging US bond yields pulled down stocks worldwide. Rising crude oil prices also weighed on the equity indices as higher crude oil prices could increase fiscal deficit, current account deficit and inflation. However, India's GDP returned to positive territory after contracting for 2 straight quarters, passing off a $1.9 trillion US stimulus package, and progress in COVID-19 vaccination programs throughout the globe kept investor sentiment high. The BSE Sensex closed below the 50,500 mark, while the NSE Nifty index settled below the 15,000 level. During the week, the Sensex surged 1,305 points or 2.66% to settle at 50,405. The Nifty 50 index soared 409 points or 2.81% to settle at 14,938. The broader market, the BSE, also surged, outperforming the Sensex. The mid-cap index jumped 3.05% and the small-cap index surged 3.87%. Sharad, welcome to Money Matters. How do you see this bond yield surging in the US? What impact could it have? Is there fear of inflation happening? How do you analyze this? Sharad, can you hear us? Sharad, can you hear us?
लगता है उनसे संपर्क हमारा भंग हो गया है। तो चलते हैं अगली खबर की ओर। कल समाप्त हुए सप्ताह में रुपया 44 पैसे मजबूत हुआ। एक अमेरिकी डॉलर की कीमत 73 रुपए 3 पैसे दर्ज की गई। सप्ताह के दौरान रुपए की कीमत में बढ़ोतरी घरेलू शेयर बाजारों में तेजी के चलते आई। कल रुपए में 19 पैसे की कमजोरी आई थी, जबकि डॉलर इंडेक्स 0.38% की तेजी के साथ 90 रुपए 98 पैसे पर पहुंच गया। डॉलर इंडेक्स 6 अन्य प्रमुख मुद्राओं के मुकाबले अमेरिकी डॉलर की मजबूती को दर्शाता है।
Sharad, welcome to Money Matters. Sharad, can you hear us? I think we seem to have lost contact with him again. So we were, Ambarish, trying to look at the weekly roundup of the benchmark domestic stock indices and trying to get our expert Sharad's view in that. As we can see that the couple of things that happened which are very important from an Indian perspective, because for a long time market mantra callers used to call us and say, let's say in 2018 and even in 19, is the recession coming? Is the recession coming? And many people didn't know the difference between a slower growth and recession. So finally people learned that a recession is when 2 quarters consecutively the GDP falls. We seem to have connected with Sharad again. Sharad, welcome to Money Matters. Sharad, are you online with us? No, I guess that's third time not lucky. Okay, as we were talking about the deceleration initially in growth.
नहीं, लेकिन अब जैसे कि हम देखें रवि की एक अच्छी खबर आई है अब कि जो 2 क्वार्टर्स में कॉन्ट्रैक्शन के बाद अब हमारी जीडीपी अच्छी स्थिति में आ रही है, जो हमारे देश के लिए भी बहुत अच्छी खबर है, लोगों के लिए भी अच्छा है और पूरी दुनिया की जो अर्थव्यवस्था है उसके लिए भी एक अच्छा संकेत है।
And as the markets that we are looking at, market almost 2.66% in the week that just ended. But if you look at it, I mean, all the major analysts were basically looking at targets at the end of 2021. That is on December 31st, 2021 of Sensex reaching around 50,000. But what we are now looking at, even with a slower growth in the week gone by, it is still currently ended at 50,405. So we almost already have reached those levels.
ये बहुत ही अच्छी खबर है इस लिहाज से भी कि ये दिखाता है कि लोगों का विश्वास पूरी व्यवस्था में किस तरह से वापस लौटा है। खासतौर से निवेश के लिए लोगों के पास पैसा है और वो पूंजी बाजार पे और शेयर बाजारों के ऊपर भरोसा कर रहे हैं कि वहां उनके पैसे में बढ़ोतरी होगी। तो ये एक बहुत ही, क्योंकि निवेशकों में अगर कॉन्फिडेंस है, अगर उनमें ट्रस्ट है शेयर बाजारों के ऊपर, तो ये निश्चित रूप से बहुत ही अच्छी खबर है हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था के लिए।
And the budgets that came in, there were a lot of fears around that time. In fact, just before the budget, if you remember, the market started falling. Normally, there is a pre-budget rally that you see in the markets. This time, we saw a pre-budget fall because there's a lot of anticipation in the market that there will be some sort of tax, some sort of extra tax on markets or capital gains, or those kind of fears that were leading to the markets continuously going down. And that kind of suddenly changed completely after the budget, and it seems to have been a one-way upward growth since then.
और रवि, हम देखें कि ये हर क्षेत्र में आपको दिखाई दे रहा है। जैसे कि अभी हमने रुपए की स्थिति की भी समीक्षा की। अमेरिकी डॉलर के मुकाबले 44 पैसे की साप्ताहिक बढ़त दिखाई दी। तो हमारी जो करेंसी है वो भी दुनिया की और जो भी करेंसीज हैं, जो मुख्य करेंसीज हैं, उनके मुकाबले बेहतर प्रदर्शन कर रही है और स्ट्रेंथ दिखा रही है।
Of course, if there is a very fine line between that. If the dollar weakens, the rupee strengthens. It does sound good on paper, but it will probably affect the export market as well, because exporters would probably like the rupee to be weaker than where it is currently. But then that's a trade-off that the RBI very constantly monitors and ensures that it's at a level which is important for India and beneficial for India. So you were mentioning the rupee, which is appreciated 44 paise and has settled at around 73 rupees and 3 paise against the US dollar. And it's been around in that zone. A lot of people feared that it will probably go to 80 or probably even higher, but that's not happened. It's been in that zone for a while. There are two things which are happening. One is the bond yields that have been surging. We are trying to get our experts' view on that, but we're not able to connect with him. The other thing is the rising crude prices. Those are the two things which are kind of an overhang over the economy, which has impact on the इंडियन
क्रूड के जो दाम बढ़े हैं वो तो निश्चित रूप से सभी के लिए चिंता का विषय है, हमारे देश के लिए भी चिंता का विषय है और उसका इम्पैक्ट भी आ रहा है। लेकिन वो काफी हद तक सबसाइड करने की बहुत सारी राज्य सरकारों ने कोशिश की है अपने टैक्सेस को रिड्यूस करके, जिससे कि लोगों के ऊपर उसका भार ना आए। लेकिन अगर क्रूड का दाम इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में घटता है तो वो निश्चित रूप से हम सबके लिए एक राहत की बात होगी।
बिकॉज वी हैव इंटरैक्टेड विद द एक्सपर्ट्स अर्लियर एज वेल, एंड देयर इज दैट एंटायर thing about that almost 4-5 year period when crude was higher than $100 a barrel. And we often asked our experts, do you ever think that kind of scenario is coming back? But most of our experts are almost unanimous that the last hurrah of oil is done, so we're never going to probably see those levels. This is the opinion of our experts that they have mentioned on Market Mantra or Money Matters, our business programs. But that's something, obviously, if it pushes upwards to that direction, it's a matter of concern that one needs to monitor very carefully. And of course, the local taxes impact is a different thing. There is the international market is what we are talking about right now. So we spoke about the weekly stock, and we also spoke about the rupee. Let's also take a deco at the US market, which is a very important market. In US market, Amrish has been having almost a secular bull run for almost 11 years now. I think it started in 2009. Actually 12 now. It's 2021 now. So almost 12 years. It's a complete secular bull run, which is very, very unlikely. Like Japan also now, for 1990, its peak was 1990. It's also come back for almost 30 years. Japan had never hit back. The Nikkei 225 had never hit back those numbers. So let's quickly look at the US market as well. The S&P 500 closed with gains in choppy trading yesterday after a 3-day slide. The three major US stocks rose as data showing faster than expected monthly jobs growth reinforced bets on an economic rebound driven by a massive fiscal stimulus and vaccination drives. The Nasdaq Composite Index gained 1.6%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average climbed 1.9%.
अच्छी बात हम ये देखते हैं। चलिए रवि, अब कार्यक्रम की समाप्ति की ओर चलते हैं और अंत में मुख्य समाचार एक बार फिर। कल समाप्त हुए सप्ताह में घरेलू शेयर बाजारों ने 2.5% से अधिक का उछाल दर्ज किया। सेंसेक्स 50,500 अंकों के नीचे बंद हुआ। निफ्टी 15,000 के स्तर के नीचे आ गया। अमेरिकी डॉलर के मुकाबले रुपए में 44 पैसे की बढ़त दिखाई दी और उम्मीद से बेहतर रोजगार आंकड़ों के चलते अमेरिकी शेयरों में तेजी रही।
That's it in this edition of Money Matters. Namaskar.